So using Pythagorean's theorem, we found these missing side lengths on 4 and 5. And so both of these, 4 and 5, have a 30-degree angle, 60-degree angle, 90-degree angle. We just got done saying that the smallest side is going to be opposite which angle? 30 degrees. The smallest angle. And then the side that's opposite the largest angle is going to be the largest side. So in a right triangle, we have 2 legs. So this is 30 degrees up here. Well, this is going to have to be my short leg because it's opposite the 30 degrees. Now this side here is also a leg, but it's the longer leg because it's opposite the 60-degree angle. And then what are we going to call this guy? Not a trick question. What is this side? Hypotenuse. Alright. So I'm going to label this in the same manner. The side opposite the 30-degree angle is always going to be the short leg. The side opposite the 60-degree angle is always going to be the longer leg. And the side opposite the 90-degree angle is always going to be the hypotenuse. This is how we're going to solve these 30, 60, 90 triangles. It all comes back down to what is the length of the short leg. I'm going to call that just L. L represents the length of the short leg. I want you to look in number 4 and number 5. I want you to look at these two problems that we solved earlier. We just used Pythagorean's theorem to get 8 square roots of 3 and 14. But I want you to look at the relationship. How is the short leg, so in this one that would be 8, and that one is 7. How is the short leg related to the hypotenuse? It's doubled. Or some of you said it's half. Well, it just depends on your perspective. It being the hypotenuse, that is twice the length of the leg. But if you're referring to as its half, okay, then yes, then it being the short leg is half of the hypotenuse. In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, this will always be true. That whatever the length of the short leg is, you're just going to double it to get the hypotenuse. Now, ask yourself the same question. What is the relationship between the short leg? Because I said everything comes back down to the short leg. So look at the two diagrams for 4 and 5. What is the relationship between the short leg and the long leg? You take the value, or you take the length of the short leg, and what do you do to it to find the long leg? You multiply it by the square root of 3. So this is my short leg, 8. The long leg, 8 times the square root of 3. Here's my short leg, 7. How do I find my longer leg? It's 7 times the square root of 3. So if you know the short leg, you can figure out all of them. Or if you're given the hypotenuse, just divide by 2 to figure out your short leg and get to your long leg. Now, we're going to solve using Pythagorean's theorem. We're going to solve the length of this triangle short leg. Okay? So we're missing one of the legs, either A or B, you choose. But my hypotenuse is 10 times the square root of 3. Now this value squared, you may have to do some side work, you may have to do some scratch work and write that out and expand it like I've told you to do. So squaring a value means to multiply it to itself. So that means I have 10 square roots of 3 times 10 square roots of 3. What's my new coefficient? The number on the outside, what is it? What's the number on the inside? So this is 100 times the square root of 9, but that's just 100 times what?
3.
So that's 300. Okay, and 15 squared is 225. Subtract 225 from both sides, and I get that 75 is equal to b squared. We're going to take the square root. You should have already done this, but we're going to take the square root, and this will be 5 square root 3 when you simplify that radical. Take the square root of 75. Okay, so let's see if this third example, number 6, it's the third example of a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Let's see if that one still follows these rules. What's the length of my short leg over there? So I got 30 degrees. It's my short leg. That's L, whatever L is. What is the value? 5 square roots of 3, or 5 times the square root of 3. That is the length of my short leg. Now, is the hypotenuse truly 2 times that value? If I have 5 of something and I multiply that by 2, how many now do I have? Did I start off with 5 and now I have 10 of those? So yes. So that still works. Oh, sorry, square root of 3. Okay, so the hypotenuse checks out. That yes, the short leg, we just multiply it by 2 to get the hypotenuse. That works out. Now, this long leg. Apparently, we take whatever the value of the short leg is, L, and we take that value and we multiply it to the square root of 3. Let's test to see if that's truly the case. Right now, I have L is, the length of my short leg is 5 square root 3. Well, what I need is L times the square root of 3 is what I really need. Well, I'm just going to plug in these values. The length of my short leg for this example is 5 square root 3. And you take that value of L and multiply it to the square root of 3. Well, we've seen something like this today. What are the numbers on the outside?
5 and 1.
It's 5 and 1, so I take their product and it is now 5. And you have the square root. What's 3 times 3? That's 9.
9.
So this is 5 times this.
3.
It's just 5 times 3. And it's 15. So when we did this math, we took the length of the short leg and multiplied by the square root of 3. We got 15. Is that what was given? Yes. Okay, so if it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle, it'll always follow these patterns. So please pull out workbook page 133. Some of these problems are extremely, extremely easy. For number 1, what type of triangle is that? Yes, it's right, but
I saw some.
okay, so use the 3 angle measurements to name this. List the angle measurements in ascending order. It means least to greatest. Say that louder. So this is one of our special rights. This is a 45, 45, 90. And the way that these work is that your legs are exactly the same because it's isosceles. How do you find the length of the hypotenuse though? Whatever the length of the leg is, L, that's what we've been calling it, times the square root of 2. That's how these 45, 45, 90 triangles work. So what are we given on this number 1? What are we given about this triangle on number 1?
1 leg.
And when that L goes out, that's when you can head out. When the log goes out. The length of one of the legs is 6. What's the length of the other leg? 6. What's the length of the hypotenuse? That's how you solve these problems. Some of them are extremely easy. Now, look.